Hello everyone, Rachel here, founder of Magnificent Midlife and the Magnificent Midlife Members Club and the Flock and all of those wonderful things. And I'm here with my Top Tip Tuesday. Okay, I know it's Wednesday, but there's a reason, and I'm going to explain all about that and why your Top Tip Tuesday is coming to you on a Wednesday. So bear with me, okay? So what do I have for you today? Today's top tip is to get more intentional. And this, I think, is hilarious, actually, because who's not being intentional or who wasn't being intentional on Tuesday? Because I set my intention that I was going to do my Top Tip Tuesday, and then I didn't get to do it because the day just disappeared. And here I am on Wednesday. But that's also my point, is that intentions don't have to be perfect. When you are intentional, you can still change and you can still pivot. So if you are watching my Top Tip Tuesday, do say hello in the comments. Tell me where you're watching from. I always like to know. And if you find this useful, please share it. Say hello, say something in the comments, whatever you think. If you think it's a load of rubbish, tell me, but nicely. So what does being intentional mean? I looked it up in the dictionary and it says being deliberate, being conscious, being purposeful, planned and considered. And I thought that was really interesting because I'd never really considered the word intentional before, but I was inspired to start thinking about this by one of our live calls that we do within the Members Club. Every other Monday we get together and we sit down and chat. I don't know quite how this happened, but being intentional came up. And I think it's that sort of idea that we set intentions, we set goals, we set plans, and then maybe we don't carry through on them. And why don't we carry through on them? So this is what we were tossing around, is that what is the problem? Why do we find it so difficult to be and to stay intentional and actually carry through on our intentions, carry through on our plans and what we would like to do? So I've been having to think about this. I don't know how you feel. Are you intentional? Do you set yourself goals or plans? Do you carry through on those? Do you find it difficult to do that? So we make a lot of excuses, don't we? So life might be getting in the way. We might be too busy. But then are we really too busy? Or is that just something that we've told ourselves? Is that just the narrative that we have going on, that we're too busy? And if we are too busy to be intentional and to follow through on our intentions, then isn't that a little bit round back to front, that maybe we're busy with the stuff that doesn't need to be busy with? Maybe we need to rethink what's keeping us busy. So what do you reckon? Does that make sense? What do you think about that? So being too busy is an excuse a lot of us use, isn't it? And there are many, many things to keep us busy, especially in midlife and beyond, that we are drawn in all sorts of directions. I know I am. And I was busy yesterday, so I couldn't do my top tip on being intentional. But I thought I would grasp the nettle and express that me being intentional was important, therefore I should carry through on it, even though I'm a day late. Yeah? So I'm doing it. And who cares? Who's going to bother whether it was Top Tip Tuesday on a Tuesday or Top Tip Tuesday on a Wednesday? I quite like the fact that I'm doing it on a Wednesday. What do you think about that? So, but it would be good, wouldn't it, to be able to be intentional, to be proactive, rather than, for example, we have an intention, we then don't follow through on it, and maybe we go back to being passive again. And being passive about our life and letting life happen to us. I know for years I let life happen to me. I wasn't proactive about it. I wasn't intentional at all. It just kind of happened. Welcome if you're here. I'm here for Top Tip Tuesday, and we're talking about getting more intentional and why we don't, and what we can do about changing that. Hello, Celeste. How are you? Where are you watching from? Hi there. So going back to being passive is not a very good idea, because then life just happens to us instead of us making life happen. And it was really only when I went through my 40s, in the middle of my 40s, when I was having my big sort of existential crisis, all about my only menopause and what was my role in life now and who was I and all of that jazz. that I started learning from all sorts of different people online and thinking about how I could get more intentional and what I could do to make that actually happen. So we all have the same number of hours in the day, don't we? And some of us achieve loads and some of us achieve not so many. And some of us have all these different priorities that we need to do and all of these things that are demanding our attention, and some of us have less. And there's that phrase, isn't there? If you want something done, ask a busy person. I think that's a really good one, isn't it? That's definitely the case if you want something done. So, Cheryl, hello, Cheryl. Hi. Oh, Celeste, you're in South Africa. Hello. Wow. Where are you, Cheryl? Thanks for hanging out with me. It's my lunchtime here in London, UK. And Nikki says hello as well. Wow. Oh, this is the time to do a Facebook Live. Look, there's 3 of you on now. How wonderful. Thank you very much for saying hello. So if you are watching, yeah, do say hello because it cheers me up. It's great. It's really nice. So what do you think? Are you intentional? Do you follow through on your plans? Do you make plans? Do you set goals? Do you then see them through? Or like me, for example, what I could have done yesterday, because my Top Tip Tuesday is coming to you on a Wednesday, I could have said, oops, I didn't do it on Tuesday. I'll let that slide. I'll let it go. But I thought, no, I'll pivot and I'll just do it on a Wednesday and everybody will understand and it'll all be fine. What do you reckon? So, if we don't do much with our lives, it doesn't... Oh, Cheryl's also from South Africa. Wow, I'm hitting South Africa. Hello. How funny. So what time is it in South Africa now? Are you 3 hours ahead of UK? What time is it? It's 1 o'clock here. What time is it for you in South Africa? So, my point about some of us, we have the same amount of hours in the day, right? And some of us achieve a lot and some of us don't achieve very much at all, or we don't do very much. We might achieve loads by not doing anything. And that doesn't matter as long as we're happy. But what I would say is if we're not happy and we're also not intentional, that's where we start having problems. So if you think there are things that you could change in your life, things you like to do that you've always been too busy for, or you've never had the time or the skill set or the support or whatever to do those things, then maybe getting more intentional is the way to go. And if you get intentional and then you have to pivot, as I've done, and do my Top Tip Tuesday on a Wednesday, then so be it. But if it's not perfect, it doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't matter. Because what matters is how we feel. So my Top Tip Tuesday, set some intentions, try and get intentional if there are things you'd like to change in your life, and go from there. So it's only 2 p.m, but you're only 1 hour ahead. Oh, wow. That's really interesting. I'd somehow got it in my head that you were 2 or 3 hours ahead, and it's only 1 hour ahead. Wow. Thank you for that, Celeste. Thanks for letting me know. So what do you think about what I'm saying? Do you set intentions? Do you carry through on them? Do you, if you don't carry through on them, do you go, oh, I'm going to give up on that because I haven't done it? Or do you pivot and think, okay, so how can I do it? Or if I'm a bit late, it's like I'm currently doing Sober October, and I know a lot of people, when they're trying to cut back on alcohol, for example, they'll have a period of abstinence and then they'll have a drink, and then they'll think, sod it, I've blown it, I might as well just keep drinking, instead of just treating it as a little lapse rather than a big relapse, and then carry on from there. So, what do you reckon? Tell me what you think. Does that make sense, what I'm saying? So, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes if anybody wants to comment and tell me anything. Otherwise, I am going to leave it here and wish you a very happy Wednesday with my Top Tip Tuesday. Just because I like to mix it up, shake it up, you know. And about getting more intentional and actually trying to make things happen and make change happen in your life. Nikki says it makes sense to me. Good. I'm glad it makes sense to you, Nikki. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's so easy to just think, yeah, I'm too busy or life gets in the way. But no, why not actually actually follow through and pivot if you need to. Okay, so if you want to come over and thank you, positive message, thank you, Nikki, that's great. So if you want to come over and check out our members club, that would be lovely. The Magnificent Midlife Members Club is where we do all sorts of things like this, and where this little Top Tip Tuesday was inspired by, actually, because we have our live calls on the first and third Monday of each month, and we get to sit down, and somehow we got onto intentions last night, so I was inspired, and it wasn't last night because it was Monday night. It was all set for Tuesday, but then Tuesday just ran away with me and it didn't happen. So yeah, come out and check that over. And well, what am I saying? So I'm going to leave it there. This is Rachel Lancaster, founder of the Magnificent Midlife Members Club. I'm going to sign off now with the Top Tip Tuesday on a Wednesday. All right, thanks for hanging out with me. Bye-bye.